We are out again, this time on the Isle of Wight. I have just got off the ferry, the Red Funnel ferry from Southampton, and I got off in West Cowes. I've just come out of the main centre area. I don't like chatting on my phone like this when there's people around to see me. I think it looks weird, but the sun is shining. I've had a pint already, just to stay hydrated obviously. And now tonight we are going to do about 14 kilometres to the scout camp at Corfe, where I've organised with a guy called Barry that I can camp in the Corfe Scouts campsite tonight. So that's where I'm headed. Hopefully this sun stays and get some beautiful views. The sea's looking gorgeous. So yeah, let's go. First one of these that I've spotted. I guess I'm going right. Hello, lovely. Hello, you're beautiful. Hello. Seems like a very long time ago that I recorded my first little message to say that I was starting the walk. It's been a long day. The first train this morning was at 10:30, so my first bus was at 9:30. Just a long day. I've got about half an hour's worth of walking left to do before I get to my camp spot tonight, and I'm losing the light, but gorgeous. So I'll get to where I'm supposed to be camping tonight in like dusk. You know, it'll be getting dark, so tent up and food on, I reckon. Good morning. Not a particularly great night's sleep, if I must be honest. My sleep mat keeps going down, so every couple of hours I have to wake up and pump it back up again, which is just rubbish. Other than that though, nice and peaceful here. A lot of bird noise, a lot of animal noise in the night, which is a bit disconcerting at first, so you have to kind of get used to that. And then once you've realise it's not a killer in the woods coming to chop you up, then you're all right. Not a particularly early start today because I'm at a campsite, so I'd have to get up at the crack of dawn and get all packed away really early. So I'm just going to take my time, have some breakfast, and let the day just start nicely without it being rushed. Good morning. Day 2 of my Isle of Wight walk, and I've just spent the night at the Corfe Scouts campsite in, I think, Shalfleet. What a great site this is. I'm hoping we can try and organise to get Marthy's scout group here for a camp. It's great site. Tucked out the way, it's got its own climbing wall and a creek that runs down the bottom. A colony of Canadian geese that live here. There's a lake here as well, so they've got all kinds of riflery and tomahawk range and water sports and stuff. So yeah, great little site. Met a lovely guy called Barry, who's the warden here. He's just come this morning to make sure I'm all right and show me where the facilities are. So feeling good, feeling fresh. Yeah, so now it's a 29 kilometre jump to the Needles, hopefully. Let's go and see what today brings. Hello. So I've just come out of Yarmouth, stopped there for some breakfast, nice coffee. Tried to dry my tent out a little bit because it was soaking from the condensation last night. And now just walking up this lovely little forest path, which is running along the side of the coastline. Lovely weather. It's nice to be out in the direct sunshine and in this sort of dappled light of the forest. Just a bit cooler. It was getting pretty warm earlier, and I'm glad I put my shorts on underneath my trousers so I could deck easily without stripping down to my boxes in broad daylight. Nobody wants to see that. So I'm making good progress. I'm going to be in Needles earlier than I thought I was going to be, so I might push on a bit and see how far down the other side I can get before I find somewhere to camp tonight, which will make tomorrow much easier, because tomorrow is a 30-kilometre day. So if I can do some of those kilometres today, obviously tomorrow will be much easier. So onwards and onwards. I have just had a delicious lunch at the waterfront. Eatbythesea.com, apparently. lunchtime special fish and chips was delicious. Washed down with a couple of pints of white gold, so well hydrated, super fueled, ready to go. I'm going to get to the Needles a lot earlier than I thought I was going to, so I'm going to push on and I'm going to walk further down the south coast than I'd originally planned. I was going to try and wild camp at the Needles tonight, but I'm going to walk down to at least Tennyson's Monument, maybe further, to try and cut some of the mileage down tomorrow. So weather's amazing, can't keep saying it enough, and the island itself is gorgeous. This has been a really good trip so far, so fingers crossed it continues like this. A very good morning. The start of day 3. Freshwater Bay last night was the camp spot, and what a treat that was. Managed to find this little outcrop just out of the main part of the village, I suppose you'd call it, and the grass was just the perfect spongy, mattressy, tufty loveliness you want from a pitch. Tent went up dead easy. There was no condensation this morning. Sunset was glorious. Sunrise was beautiful. Just ticking all the boxes. And I was sitting there this morning, lying on my back, looking at the sky, waiting for my time-lapse thing to finish on my phone, thinking just, this is why I do this. No one else is seeing this morning in this particular spot. So yeah, I felt very lucky. So this morning we are off making our way down the most of the south coast, hoping to get to a place called Binnell Point, which is somewhere near St Catherine's Point, I think, or a place called Knighton. And unfortunately this part of the coastal path is shut, so I'm on a diversion and I'm on a golf course. I don't play golf, But if I did, I'd play it somewhere like this. Have you even made it to the top if you don't tap the trigger? Onwards to Ventnor. Sometimes when you're on these long distance multi-day ones, you just need to lie down on a footbridge and eat a waffle. Because I am aching and in a bit of a bad mood because there was loads of diversions off the path, so I've been walking on tarmac a lot of the morning. Admittedly, when I was on the coastal path it was lovely, but I was up and down a lot, so my legs are just exhausted, my feet are aching, and I wanted to have a little whinge, so I stopped to eat my waffle and record this. That's how it goes. That sound of the bells ringing the location of the pub, I think. Yesterday lunchtime, I was there. It's crazy how far you can get on your own steam in a day. Good morning, team. There's last night's pitch. Not as glamorous as last night, the night before, but you know, it's all right. Heading to Benbridge today, which is that away. I was supposed to be camping back over there somewhere, and on OS Maps it looked like it was a nice little flat ledge of lovely lush green stuff. And I got there and the seed reclaimed it and it slipped away, so I had to walk down here and just pitch upon the path. These things happen sometimes. Got a 27k day today, and I've got a problem with my left hip. Not sure what it is, but it just caused me a bit of an issue, and Yeah, I was a right grump yesterday. I think I realised I just needed a pint and some food, but I was struggling walking, so let's see how today goes, shall we? The sun's out, it's not going to rain, and I'm walking and I'm not working, so that's a bonus. Good morning, welcome to Ventnor. This is day 4, my last proper full day, because I got here late Thursday. It was only a half day, but I've called that day 1. So today's my last full day, and then tomorrow my ferry's at 2 o'clock, so I need to be back at Cowes before then. I think I've realised why I was such a grumpy git last night when I checked how many steps that I'd done compared to the distance I did. On the day before, I'd done 28 kilometres, 30 kilometres, and done about 28,000 steps, I think. Yesterday I did the same distance, but 48,000 steps, because of all the ups and the downs. So not quite double, but getting there, the number of steps, but the same distance. So that's why I was a grumpy git yesterday. But sleep seems to have sorted me out. I'm now going to go down here, go find a 2 Cooks Cafe and meet up with my mate Harry. Just avoiding all them steps. Back to this legend. How are we doing, Harry?
Alright.
Right, onwards. Let's follow the man to the Wild Garlic Woods. It might make it. Harry's Garlic Woods. And we're done. So, the end of day 4, last full day today. I've made an executive decision. I was going to walk around to Bembridge today, but I had such a lovely time this morning with Harry and this afternoon that it got to the point where I was going to cut my walk short today anyway. I was going to say at Culver Cliff up there. However, I was on the beach looking for a place to go for a swim and was chatting to a guy fishing, and he said down the bottom end of the beach there's a little alcove and he's camped there loads. So I've decided to pitch up my tent here, and I'm going to stay on the beach tonight, and then depending on what time I get up tomorrow, I will make a strike for Culver and then Bembridge. If I choose to lie in, which may well happen, then I might end up getting the bus from Sandown back to Cowes to make my ferry at 2 o'clock. So we'll see what happens. I'm not bothered that I'm not walking all the way around. Actually, I've decided that I'm okay with it. I've walked a lot of it, and apparently I've seen all the best bits. So if I get the chance to camp on the beach tonight and have a fire on the beach and go for a swim at the expense of walking another 16k tomorrow, then I'm going to take it. So yeah, this is my pitch for tonight. It's pretty windy here, but as soon as you step into the little alcove, not a breath of wind. Brilliant. So I've got a little fire over there. There's plenty of wood just sitting here, so it was like it was meant to be. So I'm going to have some food in a bit. I'll probably go for a swim first, then some food with a fire to warm up. I've had a great day today, and if I don't do any more walking tomorrow, again, like I said, that's fine. I've had a wonderful time on this island. It's brilliant, and I am definitely bringing my wife and my little girl back here for a long weekend, even a week maybe, because it's a fantastic place. There's so much to do. There's loads of stuff for kids and families. There's also loads of stuff if you're on your own and you want to do something like this. Walking is easy, maybe not perhaps the amount of kilometres I tried to do yesterday, but on the whole it's pretty easy walking. There's quite a lot of road walking because of the diversions, so I think, you know, shorter days, maybe even having a base somewhere where you can utilise the bus service and, you know, hop to and from the place where you finished your walk the previous day would be a good thing to do on the island. So yeah, let's see what tonight brings. Hopefully I get a nice sunset. Like I say, I'm going to go for a swim, so I'll be absolutely Baltic in a bit. And yeah, let's hopefully have a lovely evening. It was a close one last night. I pitched my tent here and I judged it based on the texture of the sand, basically. So yesterday, you tell where the tide had gone out, where it come up to, with this transition line here. And all this sand was all lovely and fluffy and warm. And I was pretty confident it hadn't had the tide on it. Last night the tide came right up to here, and then the wash, like the overrun. You see the difference in the colour there, just here. That's how close it came to the tent. Yeah, I kept looking out the door thinking I am going to get washed away in a minute, but luckily I judged it just right. It never actually came any further than there, look.
got away with that one. But it's well worth it.